Hey guys, gals, and non-binary pals. Today I want to talk a little bit about a really cool thing that we did was we went herping down in southern Colorado. And while we weren't necessarily going herping per se, we were looking for a wild animal that is super cool, that is native to Colorado as well as a lot of other parts of the southern United States, or the southwestern United States really, because they're not really further east, they're mostly kind of a desert animal. And that is, we went to go search for tarantulas during the Great Tarantula Migration. So, they call it a migration, but in reality, it's not actually a migration. We just see them a whole lot more because they come in contact with us. So, we went down to southern Colorado, down to kind of La Junta area, and there are quite a few animals, and by animals I mean tarantulas, during the time of year. So every single year, not just in Colorado, all over the United States, like in California, Texas, New Mexico, all those places, during the time of year, which is kind of mid-late September to kind of middle of October, they call it the Tarantula Migration. And they call it that because all of a sudden, seemingly out of nowhere, there are just hundreds of tarantulas that are coming across the roads, walking through parks, usually around dusk and into the evening and at night. And so what this actually is this is the mating season for several different species of tarantulas, but I'm mostly going to talk about the ones here in Colorado, and that is the Oklahoma brown tarantula. So they call it Oklahoma brown, but there's different subspecies or whatever. Those are the native species that we have here in Colorado. So these are every single tarantula that you are going to see if you decided you want to go out and see this really cool wild phenomenon and natural phenomenon, which is super cool. Every single spider that you see is actually going to be a sexually mature male. And so they mature, all tarantulas of this species mature around 5 to 7 years old. Females mature a little bit slower, and they also live a lot longer, sometimes upwards of 20 years or more. That can vary species, but once again, talking about this exact species. Male tarantulas have a much shorter lifespan, and they mature around 5 to 7 years or so. So when this happens, females stay in their little burrows that are all webbed out, and males go out looking for them. They're going to go out to find their dates. And so what happens during this time of year, that's when the mating season is. All of these males go out looking for the female tarantulas. And so what they do, so they've hooked out, and I think you can kind of see it on the front legs of some of these tarantulas. You can see they have these tiny little hooks on the bottom of the front of their legs, on the back side of their legs, and that's how you can tell that it's a sexually mature male tarantula. They will develop those once they molt to their mature state. They go out looking for the females around dusk and night, and the beginning of night, when the ground temps are warmer, but it starts to cool off. There aren't as many predators out and about like birds and stuff like that, and they go out looking for the female tarantulas. And the reason why they call it a migration is just because we see so many of them. They're not actually going one direction or the other. They're just all throughout and scattered throughout their range and their habitat. And because we're seeing them more, we're just calling it a migration. And so as they're cruising around, going through parking lots, crossing roads, going through fields, dirt roads and stuff like that, we'll see them terribly often. And what's really cool is we're going to go see them, and you can too, once again, kind of wherever, but here in southern Colorado, there's a really cool area south of La Junta and some national grasslands where you can see them all of the time during this specific time. I mean, depending on, weather, the time of the day, the temperature, wind, and stuff like that, although it was pretty windy for several of the days that we went down there. And these are just a bunch of clips, obviously, of 2 or 3 trips that we made during this period, because just for different reasons, you couldn't get as much filming, or we had different times. But either way, it's really cool to see these really cool guys. And so all these little male tarantulas, because once again, every single one is a male, crossing roads, and you just sit there and follow along. They are so set on what they're doing, they almost completely ignore people. Sure, if you come up and blow on them or stomp right next to them, they're going to take pause and notice. But there were a couple times where I literally just scooped them up and moved them across the road. Didn't care at all. Didn't throw any threat postures. no throwing the irritating hairs that they throw as a defense. Nothing. They literally are just set on what they want to do, and that's because it's basically their purpose in life. They go out, they find their females. Sometimes the female will eat them afterwards, like as we've heard in other, fairly famous cases like praying mantis and black widows and stuff. But the truth is, males will basically expire after they mate successfully with the female, and that concludes their life cycle. That's why they have a shorter lifespan, because that's part of it. And these guys are so dedicated. We even saw a 6-legged tarantula. He had lost a couple legs through probably some sort of predation event, and he is still out there trucking along looking for a female, and hopefully he finds that little girlfriend for him. So it may seem a little alien to human beings like us, that why is that? Why does the male just go and one and done himself, basically, right? But that's just how the life cycle is for these really cool and interesting and fascinating species. So that's just one thing that makes them a little bit different, makes them a little bit more misunderstood, other than the fact that, they have 8 legs and they're hairy and they're tiny and we don't understand them very much. But they're just a really cool little neat animal. And the fact that an event like this happens, that I'm going to keep calling it the migration. It's not. Boys are just looking for girlfriends. But the fact that this really cool phenomenon can happen across kind of a wide area of the United States, mostly in kind of, loose soil, dry desert type climates, but that's kind of a lot of different places, once again, even here in Colorado, that you can actually see this. And it's so cool to actually be able to go out and look at these guys and just, not catch them, because even if you were to catch one and take it home, it's not going to live that long because it's a sexually mature tarantula. It might, because it never gets a chance to mate, it might live another year, maybe 2, but then at that point, it's just a really old boy spider. So it's just really cool to just sit there and observe nature in action, and how dedicated all these little male tarantulas are at finding a female and propagating and moving forward and carrying their line into future generations. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. It was so cool to watch this. We've done this a couple different years. This is really the first year. Herping for reptiles was not great this year, but looking for these spiders and stuff was really, really cool. So if you ever get a chance to, if you're in Colorado here locally, anything like that, hopefully you guys have a chance to go out and check these guys. It's a really good thing. You can bring a little bit of money to the different towns that you go down see, spending a little time, because it's at night, spend some money at a hotel, get some fast food, whatever, make a whole weekend of it. It's really cool to sit there and see that, but hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. I know the spider videos are a little hit and miss with everybody, because spiders are so, they're not as interesting as snakes, but I think it's a really cool part of herpetoculture. It's a really cool part of nature. They're fascinating little animals. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe if you can for more reptile and really any and all animal adventures and videos and cool information like that. If you have any questions, comments, let me know down below in the comments section. Hit me up, jzsreptiles@gmail.com. We're working on a couple different things. If you felt like it, maybe throw some scratch my way via Patreon. We throw up a couple different rewards. You can check that out. I'm trying my hand at it. So let me know if you guys, what you guys think about that. Hopefully you're having a great day, and we'll check you next time.